when you talk about complete games the last couple of weeks, was Saturday kind of what you were envisioning?
Yeah, it was much closer, much closer. And I thought they came out with a good energy, finished with a good energy. I thought they did a nice job of responding to the drive out of halftime. Where they could have had a oh man here it comes mentality, or oh man are we going to be able to sustain, and they didn't bat an eye, they didn't flinch, they came back and played really good football. So that was probably as close as we played so far, but we need to play better.
Brett, you already spend all your time this week on Tennessee making a game plan, or are you focused on yourselves a little bit during this bye week first?
Yeah, first and foremost, you got to look back and see what we've done well, see what we need to improve upon, and this is that week that you can work on some fundamentals and get some things that, may, as the season goes along, that can get loose, or you just don't have time to get into some nitty-gritty details all the time from a technical standpoint, or just, there's some of it that we're just getting back to day one fundamentals that once you get into a game week and you start, manipulating the call, or, and you try to fit the opponent that you're playing, and you get back to the root, and so that's what we've been doing this week, and it's been good. The guys have been locked in, working hard. Obviously, you start looking ahead in terms of getting ready in that regard, but a lot of it's just keeping their heads, recalibrating, getting their bodies right, getting back to the fundamentals of what we do well, and then that'll carry over these last 5 games.
You talk all the time about there's no perfect play call, but as a coordinator, how much does it just excite you to try and develop a game plan against an offense like Tennessee has out there that's so successful?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can, work with the staff and figure out what you have player-wise and build a game plan, that's part of the fun of this profession and this job. Also the challenge of it, and there is no perfect blueprint for any offense that you face, any team that you face, and especially the one that we'll face next week, and we'll talk about that later. But they're obviously operating at a high level right now, and we've got a really big challenge. But the focus right now, and it's on us, and let us get back to being the best version of us before we go try to attack the best version of somebody else.
Coach, you obviously played much better defensively against Mississippi State than you did last year. What was it that your kids were doing in that game that you needed to get done that may carry over to the next game?
Yeah, we can talk about this comparison between Mississippi State, in 21 and 22. I think even the difference between Mississippi State this past week and the week before against South Carolina was tackling. Like, I thought we tackled better, and that was a direct correlation to, we did not play well in 21 against Mississippi State with 21 missed tackles. And so I thought we tackled much better as a team. I thought we rallied as a team. There were a lot of blue hats around the football, and we're going to need to do that again. Tackling is such a big. Plays happen really 2 ways, missed tackles or missed assignments, and that's how explosives happen. And a lot of ours this year, when you go back and you look about the explosives, a lot are tied to missed tackles. And so we've got to be able to tackle well down the stretch here, coming out of the bye. And that's always, makes you nervous, because when you come out of a bye, it's a week off of live tackling. Now your body gets to recover. The guys need it. They've gone hard for 7 straight weeks. But it's first game of the year, bowl games, and after buys are the 3 games that defensive coordinators dread the most when it comes to tackling. And because you just haven't done it, it's not, at that point it's 14 days. And so we need to do a good job, make a big emphasis point, and we will, you know, as a defensive staff and as a defense as a whole. And we need to come out and we need to tackle well, because they're going to, you know, the isolation piece of the, you know, the offense that we're going to face is that, you know, there are going to be a lot of one-on-one tackles. Now we're going to try to run the ball the best we can, but guys are going to, in a one-on-one situation, are going to have to pin the ball to the ground.
Is that the biggest challenge, just facing an offense like this? Is just there's no way to hide from isolation. You just got to win in one-on-ones.
That's it. I mean, that's the offense. Like it's going to be a one-on-one game, and you know, guys are going to have to step up and understand that it's funny that the core word, right? You're isolated. You know, you're alone, and hey, there's nowhere to hide. And it's going to be ESPN. And it's going to be 7 o'clock, and there's going to be a lot of eyes. And but I think our guys are excited, and they understand the challenge. And I'm looking forward to them rising to that challenge.
Mark mentioned Kobe Albert yesterday. He's a guy who likes him with his cover skills. We've seen him play more. What do you just like about his progress in the course of that?
Yeah, you know, Kobe's got so much athleticism, and he's got quick twitch. He can close a lot of ground really fast. He's an easy mover. You know, he'll come down and he'll strike you. So he's got all the tools. You know, it's figuring out what to do. You know, is his biggest step, and that's going to be the biggest stepping stone for him. Like most freshmen, it's figuring it out. But when he does, he's going to be a really good player. And so we're just trying to find ways to continue to bring him along in bits and pieces that he can feel like he understands and he can play confident. Just like anybody else, it's so much is about confidence and believing you're doing the right thing. If not, you tend to float and you play slower, and you can't play slow in this league. And he is not slow. So.
Looked like you had some sets with Dion out there down and everybody else standing up, some exotic type. Does he allow you to do that, or?
You know, it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously you have to have the personnel that allows you to do it. You know, but every game plan's a little bit different. Sometimes you need to just give some different wrinkles, and you know, that I know it's sort of been. You know, a couple of people have asked me about it. I didn't even think of it as anything all that out of the ordinary, you know, because we've done those things before in the past with different people. I think it just maybe stands out because Dion's like a small house in there. But no, that's part of what we have in our package. But he gives you the ability to do it. A lot of times you don't see guys that big in that spot. You see smaller bodies that move around, but he's so athletic for a guy his size that he can get into those situations and he can play.
Brad, how do you feel Drew's coming along there as your extra?
I'm sorry?
Drew Phillips.
Oh, Andrew
He's
Phillips.
coming along. And how do you think he played against Mississippi State? And always out there a lot more. It seemed like.
I think he's again a guy that is playing, you know, well right now for us. He's playing at a winning level, and a guy that's going to be a big part of this defense and how we structure, you know, going forward. So it was good to get him out there some more. Obviously, he had a really good, you know, I thought fall camp, and you know, we've been able to work him in more and more and more, and really looking to see him take his game to another level, and I think he can.
Everybody good?